certain people do have this thing. Actuaries earn a lot right from the beginning. They might make as much as 1 crore as a fresher. So that's a myth. No freshers, earns 1 crore a year in actuarial field. At least I don't know anyone personally. So that is one of the myths. You do get that sort of pay, but that is once you have become a fellow actuary with a lot of working, with a lot of years of working experience.
Are you looking for a six-figure salary job? Haven't heard of Actuarial Science? Stay together to watch this video. Hello folks, welcome to the series named The Placement Guide, where we help students to know about various career opportunities. Today, we have a very special guest amongst us whose name is Ashnut Kothary. He is an actuarial science educator and general insurance actuarial professional. He has cleared 11 papers till now and was All India topper in CT6 paper. He also has a corporate work experience of 1.5 years, along with more than 6 years of teaching professionally, and had graduated from Calcutta University. Thank you so much, Ashnat, for accepting our invitation and coming up to the show.
Hi, Madhur. Yeah. Thanks for this particular invite. Hoping that this session is insightful for all our viewers.
So, before we proceed, do like and share this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe the channel for more such videos. Let's deep dive into your journey, Ashnut. Can you explain in layman's language what is actuarial science?
So, see, in very, very simple terms, if I would like to explain, what actuarial science is or what people who study actuarial science can do is risk management. There are three pillars to it. First being, let's say, identification of risk, be it any aspect of our life, whether हमारा बचपन हो या हम 55 साल के हो, risk हर वक्त रहने वाली है. So first thing which we need to identify is the risk. Next step is post identification. We will try to quantify it. कि what can it be the financial impact of it? And the next step is what are the various ways in which we can mitigate. सो वन वे कुड बी से अगर हम स्टॉक मार्केट में इन्वेस्ट करने जा रहे हैं जो आज के दिन बहुत ज्यादा ट्रेंड चल रहा है एवरीबडी वांट्स टू इन्वेस्ट इन स्टॉक मार्केट एंड सो ऑन तो वहां पे रिस्क क्या रहता है कि हमारा लॉस हो जाए एक तरीका है कि हम इन्वेस्ट ही नहीं करेंगे तो हमारा लॉस नहीं होएगा दैट इज वन वे टू save ourselves from the risk. And then there are other ways. Instead of not taking the risk at all, how can we reduce its particular impact through various methodologies? So actuaries is this the discipline of actuarial science helps a particular student to be able to apply these techniques, and it has its application everywhere because risk is one thing which is going to be present all around.
Yeah, that's a really nice analogy to explain the about the actuarial science and risk management part. So, who should ideally consider exploring this field and at what stage?
So actuarial science is one field which anyone could start with. When I say anyone, it's like anyone, let's say, who has cleared class 12 examination. So be it a 17-year-old or even a 70-year-old, they could start with their actuarial journey. So this is my personal experience. In one of the exams, actuarial exams I was sitting for, there was a person aged close to 60 or so who was appearing for their exams. Even I have certain students who are extremely experienced. Yes, extremely, experienced towards their mid 40s or late 40s, who have started preparing for actuarial science. So again, this is something which anyone across the age could start for. Usual trend is ki the ones who get to know about this course, I mean, they could start as soon as after their class 12 examinations. And some of them, if extremely interested, they could maybe start during their class 11 or 12, so on. As for who should think about doing it, so the course basically revolves around using a lot of mathematical techniques as well as various other academic knowledge. uh, so anyone who is extremely interested in problem solving or in analyzing whatever a task we have come up with, and and are inclined to apply them in real life scenarios, I mean, this is one course which will really help you. not just academically, but overall to make more better informed decisions across all, different, I mean, whatever different situations you might encounter in life.
Yeah, I think a lot of students are there who love mathematics and problem solving, but still they haven't heard about this exciting field and this opportunity for them. So, what is the process of becoming a fellow actuary in India?
So, see, there are two institutes which conducts the examinations. So, students can pursue their, say, graduation or post graduation from any institution. Along with that, parallelly, they can prepare for the actuarial exams. So, the two most, let's say, common institutes from which students appear exams from are IAI, Institute and Actuaries of India, and another is IFOA, Institute and Faculty of Actuaries. So both of them currently have the same syllabus, so students can sit for examinations from either of these. So as of now, there are 13 papers which a student needs to clear. Post completion of these 13 papers and 3 years of relevant work experience, they attain the complete qualification and get the tag of fellow actuary. Again, note one thing in mind. A lot of you might get a bit, a kind of, it might seem very challenging, 13 papers, so on. So,
Hmm.
unlike other professions, wherein first you clear all examinations, you get a degree, and then most probably you'll get a job. In actuarial science, theoretically speaking, you can get a job even before clearing any actual papers. I have seen certain batchmates of mine, certain students of mine who have got actual jobs even before clearing any actual exams. So the general trend is you clear a couple of actual papers, you start working, and while working, you basically clear the other remaining papers. So that is just one note. Don't get bogged down by 13 papers, sounds very difficult, so on. You might clear a certain couple number of papers, start working, and along with working, you need to appear for the remaining actual papers.
Yeah, that's a really nice thing in this field because in every other field one have to complete all the papers and doing 13 papers is really would be very challenging. So it's a nice way to gain some experience and alongside complete the all the papers.
On that, I'll just like to add again, in for actual candidates, there are a lot of supportive schemes available. Like the employers, most of the actual recruiters, they will have a study policy dedicated towards actuaries. So wherein you get paid leaves, for a study time, they would be reimbursing your examination fees and your salary would be increased as and when you clear the papers. So along with the normal career growth, wherein you might have certain promotions or certain increments, in an actual setup, there is another set of growth which is in line with your uh, examination progress. And the increments which you get in your salary by clearing one paper could vary anywhere between 30,000 per paper per annum to as high as 5 lakh per paper per annum. So this is that part which actually allows you to grow exponentially in your career.
Yeah, that's a really large amount of money that you said by clearing next level of the papers. So what are some of the key skills required in this field while working as an actuary?
So let me break it down this way. First of all, if you want to ask me what are the key skills for anyone looking to start with actuaries, I will say the only key skill or the only prerequisite required is a student should know English because the exams are conducted in English. Secondly, they should know the concepts of maths taught in school till class 12. Mostly basic probability, basic calculus, arithmetic progression, geometric progression, so on. Anyone who knows this is ready to start their actual journey. As they study their, as they study in actuarial science and post, let's say, completion of all the exams, these individuals will be extremely skilled in problem solving, analyzing, and being able to, understand a lot of business decisions or a lot of decisions which a management takes. How will that impact business? And communication is again, we all talk about it irrespective of our field, how important it is to be able to communicate well by pursuit of studying actuarial science, because we have certain papers solely devoted towards communication. An individual will end up having better communication ability, be it oral communication or be it written communication.
So, what do you think the scope of actuarial science in India?
So again, I would say for any profession, be it actuarial science or any other profession, I mean, a scope, it's something which might change time on time. I mean, it's a fast-paced world right now. What might be the most sought after thing 1 year later, that might not be the case. So how I will like to address this, it's more about the course. Anyone who is studying actuarial science, by virtue of studying it, at least the first few examinations, the kind of knowledge they develop is something which will help them, whether they go on to complete their actual journey or not, whether they are doing any professional job, whether they are having a particular business, say a family run business, or they want to start as an entrepreneur. The skills, the knowledge which you will learn in the first few papers will help you everywhere, be it management of money, understanding basic economic concepts, understanding basic finance or accounting concepts. So the initial papers covers all of these. So I mean, for me, anyone who studies these basic papers, irrespective of whether they plan to complete all papers or not, they'll end up to be in a situation where they can take more better, well-informed decisions, not just professionally, but even in personal life or even in any other day-to-day life activities. So I will
Yeah,
say,
that's
without any bias, because I am pursuing actuarial science, still I would say of all the courses I have known so far, this one, the kind of width it offers with the different set of knowledge required, it is unparalleled.
yeah, that's a really nice structured syllabus made by the institutes. Even if someone doesn't actually wants to complete all the papers, he can at least start with some of the initial papers, develop some skills, and he or she can easily use in any of the fields. So that's a really nice way. So, which are some of the key companies who are hires in this field, and what is the general salary looks like?
So, if I talk about the industries, insurance industry, if I talk about India, let's say insurance industries are key recruiters. Then, consultancies like PwC, EY, KPMG, Deloitte, they also do, employ actuaries. Then even certain IT-based companies like TCS, Accenture, they also have their actuarial teams. Pension funds are there. Certain consultancies, small-scale consultancies as well. Uh, Government agencies outside India, investment banking, that's a very big thing. So these are, let's say, the major recruiters of actual talent. As for companies, you take any insurance company, life insurance company, HDFC Life, SBI Life, Reliance Life, take any of these companies, or let's say TCS, Accenture, all these companies, are recruiting actuaries. As for the salary, it widely varies. It is mostly dependent on which organization you are applying for, as well as your academic background and the number of actual papers you have cleared. So, in my experience, the general level is, the starting pay would be around 4 lakh per annum, and it could go to as high as 14 lakh per annum. So this is more, I will say, dependent on the organization a particular individual is applying on. Again, see, as for the lower part, there might be a company who might be exploiting somebody by giving just, let's say, 1 lakh, 2 lakh per annum. But the general trend is, yes, I mean, this is a very wide range, 4 to 14 lakh per annum as a fresher, and if I talk about the median pay, which is, I will say, more correct figure, it will be around about 6 lakh per annum to begin with. So 14 lakh is a very extreme. Ideally, you shouldn't expect that. Very few candidates have only received that. Generally, you will end up getting anywhere near 6 lakh per annum to begin with. But keep in mind, the kind of growth you have over here is extremely exponential. I mean, 30-40% growth year on year for the 4 5 years, if you're clearing actual papers, is pretty normal, which is unlike most of the other industries.
Yeah, 30-40% growth is really very nice in this industry. So, what are some of the pros and cons of this field?
Biggest advantage, I would say, is the knowledge it gives you. And along with that, obviously, given that you've taken up a professional course, it allows you to network to, like-minded people. extremely talented or extremely hardworking people, I mean, that is a general advantage of, say, any course. More so, I will say, in my experience, whatever things I've learned, I have been able to, apply them in real life, specifically with respect to my investments, understanding the consumer psychology or, customer psychology, how sometimes we react to news or any sort of information available, how we could be gamed. Certain companies might, through the choice of their wordings, influence our decision making. So by studying this course, we just become more and more aware, how we can save ourselves from being exploited by these things. And obviously, as I, keep mentioning, take more better, well informed decisions. Disadvantage is given that it's a long journey, 13 papers one needs to sit for. So the amount of time which one need to spend in this course is substantially higher than most of the other courses. And the biggest challenge lies in maintaining the work-life balance, because it's not just work and life, it's work, study, and then very little of the life which remains. So again, nothing worthwhile comes easy. So yes, you
Hmm.
have to spend significant amount of time. You have to, you might be forced to sacrifice your social life for certain years till the time at least you're, appearing for your exams. So that is one disadvantages. But again, I mean, nothing worthwhile comes easy. So even if you take any other course, you want to do exceedingly well, you'll have to make certain choices, certain sacrifices.
Yes, completely agree. Nearly in all of the fields, there would be work-life balance in little skewed manner in the starting, but eventually it becomes better as one proceeds in those industries. And also, like understanding consumer psychology and risk management is really very important in investment industry. And I hope a lot of people can develop this through this course. So, based on your own experience, what are some of the important points that you think one should focus on to get a rank holder in these papers?
So, firstly, I will say there always remains an element of luck. It could be that I secured, say, a particular marks, 95 out of 100, and I secured the All India topper tag. Another student who might secured 94, nobody knows about them. So there is slight amount of luck, but again, that is something which we can't control. So let's not even talk about that. Things which we can control, I will say firstly is your discipline. You know, I will be very honest. When I was young, 15, 16 or so, I was like, discipline is overrated. You need to be talented and so on. But more and more, as I've gained experience, I'm like, it's all about discipline, because as you grow on, there would be multiple responsibilities. You'll have to manage multiple things. And if you have the discipline, it just allows you to, perform all these functions together extremely well. So discipline, persistence, focus, and more specifically, I mean, just practice as much as you can, and think from the point of view of, if you're trying to study a topic, maybe think that you want to become a teacher and you have to explain this to a layman. How would you do that? That really helps you to get deep into the conceptual part. So like even in my case, I mean, teaching was an accident to me. It wasn't something I had been planning for. It just happened, and by virtue of teaching, I mean, the amount of the concepts, I was able to get just by virtue of teaching, it was far higher than, just by studying for the paper. So the general psychology I have is, okay, if I'm starting with a paper, if I want to master it, which will, give me a high chances of, let's say topping a particular paper or securing rank or securing high marks, is to get deep into the concepts and understand it in such a way so that I can explain it to any layman.
Very true. Like there is a popular quote also from Richard Feynman where he says that if you haven't understood it properly and explained to a 5-year-old person in simple languages, you haven't understood the concept yet. So, what is your greatest learning from your work experience as an actuarial analyst?
So, as you mentioned, I have close to 1.5 years of experience working in a corporate setup. So my biggest learning would be time management, the importance of time, managing the time, because you really always won't get the time of your superiors, your managers or your seniors. They might be occupied in a lot of tasks. So to get the work around, you need to somehow, be in a position so that you can ask your queries, get them resolved. If you're stuck somewhere just because you cannot reach out to your manager, I mean, how else could you get the work done? So time management, stakeholder management, wherein you have to deal with a lot of other individuals from different teams. I don't know, politics might come out, people might be shifting accountability. So end of the day, your task is to get the work done in a certain quality within the timelines. So you need to know how to get the work done. In case there are any obstacles, who should you reach out to so that the work, moves in the direction towards completion. These two things are there, and obviously the importance of communication. I can't you know stop focusing on the importance of communication. I mean, that remains the key importance, whether working in a corporate setup or even if you're having your own let's say startup or running any sort of business. Communication remains a key thing.
Yeah, completely agree. I think a lot of people focus only on the technical aspects, but soft aspects like communication skills, negotiation skills, and management skills plays a much larger role. So can you tell
I
something
mean,
about your
technical
company,
skills is
Finatics?
sure. So, I have been teaching for close more than 6 years now. I started teaching in 2016 when I was in the second year of my college. So, Finatics is basically an education institute wherein we are focusing on providing quality content to all actuarial learners, be it with respect to their preparation of exams, job interviews for freshers as well as for experience. So, it's a threefold strategy. If you would ask me, one thing is guiding people about actuarial science, a very unbiased guidance. What are its advantages, disadvantages, and we are very open about the challenges anyone might face by pursuing this particular course, and giving them a very, I will say, truth picture regarding the job market, the kind of compensation they offer. So there, certain people do have this thing. Actuaries earn a lot right from the beginning. They might make as much as 1 crore as a fresher. So that's a myth. No freshers, earns 1 crore a year in actuarial field. At least I don't know anyone personally. So that is one of the myths. You do get that sort of pay, but that is once you have become a fellow actuary with a lot of working, with a lot of years of working experience. Then you might get that. But again, people should come in with the right expectations. So that is one thing. Second part is, assisting them with the preparation of exams, wherein we provide our classes, preparatory resources, extremely, I would say, interactive doubt solving facility. And then the final part is assisting them with their placements, so that we help them reach out to the ones who are working in the industry, so that they get to know about the industries, their work culture, what are the advantages, disadvantages, as well as in the preparation of their interviews. The way we offer our classes currently is it's available in offline mode. Right now, it's restricted to Kolkata. Online classes, students can access it from anywhere, and we also have international students from more than 20 countries. So, I mean, anyone who knows English, who wants to study actuarial science, irrespective of a location, we would be having great content for them.
Can you also tell name of some resources that would be helpful to a beginner who is interested into this field?
So for anyone, if you want a resource which is publicly available, you might go out to the respective websites of the institute, whether it's II or IFOA, and you might get hold of certain materials. There's a material for the entrance examination for II. You might get certain materials. So see, the thing is, the institute does not release this material publicly. So I mean, these resources are not available openly. One needs to buy them. So, I mean, you need these resources, the material, institute material. I mean, along with that, the past year papers are extremely helpful, and these are something directly available on the institute's website. So these two things are pretty much helpful for the purpose of studying for exams and clearing for exams. And apart from that, for the practical exposure, I will say read more business news, business articles, follow certain maybe social groups wherein authentic finance-based news are being posted. So that might help you to stay up to date with whatever is happening in the finance or the insurance sector.
Any last message that you would like to give to all our interested audiences who wanted to begin their journey into this field?
So on that, I will say a lot of you might have this notion that actuarial science is very difficult. So what is difficult is not clearing an individual paper, but its entire journey. So don't get bogged down by the sheer number of papers. I will say start. Instead of relying what I say or maybe what your other peers say, I will say just take a leap of faith, start preparing for one paper and then judge for yourself whether you like it or not. And come in with the right set of expectations. Because if your expectations are not right, even if you're doing very well, I mean, you might still feel disheartened because you might have set extremely high expectations. So, I mean, and keep one thing in mind, the journey of becoming a fellow actuary can be very long. So be prepared to, if required, you might have to sacrifice some of your social life, but again, it would be worth it.
Yeah, I think it's very necessary to take simple, small steps to eventually complete a big obstacle. Thank you, Asnut, for taking out time and sharing your valuable experiences and lessons. I hope it would be really helpful to a lot of the students. Thank you.
All our viewers, did find this session interactive and useful.